Good evening, everybody. It's only been 2 days. Actually, one day we've done You've Been Strange last night. Wow, I'm a very busy man. But we are here. We are back with another Behind the Curtain Interviews with Excellence. And if you've read the title, if you've read the description, you know exactly who's about to come onto this screen. I don't know if you can tell, but the background is kind of the same color. We're going to turn the camera here, give a little Easter egg as to who's coming on the screen. But if you want to go check out the description, you go and do that. But ladies and gentlemen, the young lad who's about to appear here, the young lad I'm about to sit down with, when I tell you he is the next generation of up-and-coming wrestler, in the next 10 years, you're going to see this guy flying higher than most people you've seen. You've got to believe every word I'm saying. I've seen this kid grow for the past 2 years now, from tag team champion to a light in the dark champion. Pretty sure soon he's going to be, sovereign champion. But we'll have to figure that out when we get to July. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't figured it out by now, his blood is lilac. It is the lilac demon himself. It is Spawn. Good evening, Spawn.
Good evening, DJ. Good evening, everyone.
How are you doing? How are you diddling?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? I'm feeling really, really good about this one. I've been looking forward to sitting down with you. Good evening, Zoe. I'm assuming Zoe's upstairs.
Yeah, she is upstairs.
Ethan, good evening. DJ Brevin Spoon, good evening, Ethan. I hope you're doing all right. We've got Kobe watching. Evening, everyone. Bell Brev, evening, lads. Have a great show. I'm sure we're going to have a great show, and I'm sure you're going to be there. Out ahead Hebrides champion as well. Yes, out ahead Hebrides champion as well. Can't forget that. Good evening, Brevs and Brevettes. Ed Hunter, as always. There's young Lilith tuning in.
Evening, Lilith.
And my good friend Becky tuning in again, 2 nights in a row. Nice to see you, Becky. So, Spawny.
Yes.
I give everyone the opportunity when they come on here to have a few words. Is there anything you'd like to get off your chest or say before we deep dive into some questions? Maybe is there anything you want to tell the crowd watching?
Well, the majority of people knows as Spawn, but my real name's Leland. People just find it easier to call us Spawn now, so I may as well just go by Spawn.
Yeah.
But I think with all the questions that you've got, I think we'll be able to uncover everything.
I've got a lot to go through. I've got 32 questions here, but as always, if you guys have questions, get them in the comment section, either in the YouTube live chat or the Facebook. We are live on SME's Facebook, IWF's Facebook page and group, over on the SME YouTube, SME Facebook, and IWF's YouTube as well. We've got a lot of destinations, a lot of people watching. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Right then, let's dive into it with the very first question, and it's normally the same for everyone. What made you want to become a wrestler? Like, was there a specific moment or an influence in your younger life that made you realize, yep, I want to be a wrestler?
Well, ever since I was young, I've always watched wrestling, but I've never really had that motive to become a wrestler. It all started when my dad started to do wrestling training. At first, I found it a bit cringy because the first thing he showed us was Davy Dudes getting pooed on by Bat Pigeon. That's just a bit ridiculous. But after a while, I kind of just warmed to the idea of wrestling, and then I just started training. That's how I got into it.
Speaking of training, obviously growing up with Strange as your father, how did his wrestling career, his training, shape your view of the business?
Well, obviously at first he was teaching us a lot about things. He kind of helped us in the early stages progress faster than the majority of people. But me and my dad have always been competitive with one another, whether that's football, the gym. So wrestling, it's like a friendly competition between me and him. So always pushing each other to do the best we can. And I think he's helped me develop as a wrestler.
I can see that in your style in the ring. I do see a bit of him in you. But did you ever consider maybe following a different path? You did mention football. You did mention going to the gym as well. Or do you now feel wrestling's where you belong?
I did like enjoy football a lot, but I think as I started really getting into wrestling, I felt more comfortable wrestling, and I was like, yes, this is what I want to do as a career. And I want to get so good at wrestling that I can make it what I do as a job.
I'm pretty sure you're going to have no problem doing that. Not a problem. uh, how much of that early training did you do alongside your dad, Strange, and any other trainers for that? And was there any valuable lessons that you were taught that you still carry with you today?
Well, nearly every single thing that I've done in training, my dad's been there because we go to the same training school, same seminars. I'm trying to think of what I've really like took in, what a trainer's taught us. Well, obviously you've all seen Joe. He was on here not too long ago, I don't think. And he teaches us all just to be the best version of you when you're wrestling. And I think that's what I always think every time I'm training, every time in the ring. I just want to be the best I can possibly be.
I like that. So growing up, because you're a young lad, you grew up in a different generation of wrestling than the likes of me and your dad. So growing up, what idols in wrestling did you have, and how have they influenced your style in any way?
Well, the first thing I remember seeing, the first real big feud was John Cena and Randy Orton at the time. And I was all for Randy Orton. Not Randy Orton, sorry. I was all for John Cena. Being like, he was the big face, he was the massive hero. But as I started to grow up, I realised Randy Orton was the better wrestler. And I kind of want a Randy Orton, and you see that with my moveset today. A lot of the stuff I do is kind of because of watching Randy Orton. And I just really like his style of wrestling and his way of storytelling.
Randy Orton he's one of my favorites as well. He's a funny guy as well. Really big into his video games, just like me. So going back, well, not going back, still talking about training. Can you take us back to, if you can remember, your first day of wrestling training? Was there any moments or anything that stood out to you? Anything that maybe made you question, wow, this is an intense business I'm getting into?
Well, my first training session, well, I used to do wrestling training on the Sundays as well as football training in the morning. So I'd finish football training, go straight through to wrestling training, where we'd do fitness at the beginning, which was also very hard after football. What I do remember though is my first time in the ring. I was with my dad, and I was that excited doing wrestling punches and wrestling headbutts and that. I was properly hitting them instead of like doing it the way that you meant to. But I was only young at the time.
Yeah.
But I remember getting that excited. I started doing that. Then I got showed how to properly do it.
They were long ass days.
There were. There were.
Good evening, Jacob. Just tuning in. Good evening,
Good
Jason.
evening.
Your dad saying Randy Orton, one of the goats. Yes, truly, one of the goats. So, how would you say over the years you've been doing this that your in-ring style has evolved since your first match to now?
Well, since my first match, I feel like I was very, very close to my dad's style of wrestling. Like, I kind of copied of his style, but not at the same time. And now I feel like as I've developed as a wrestler, I've kind of went my own path with technical wrestling. And I've kind of learnt my own craft instead of copying off my dad.
Yeah.
I think that's the major thing that's changed in my wrestling ability and my moveset.
All right. Looking back though, during all of that training, evolving your own in-ring style, what's one piece of advice that you wish someone had told you back then that you could maybe tell everyone now?
Make everything your own. So everything you do, add that little twist to make it yours, even if it's something so small. Because everyone hits the same moves, but not everyone hits it the same way.
All right. I think I know the answer to this one, but I know there's a lot of viewers that don't. How much of your in-ring personality and style is shaped by your family's legacy, and how much of it have you crafted to be your own? Obviously, lilac is a very big thing in your household.
I think the majority of what I do in wrestling is because of my family. Like, I like to think every time in the ring, I'm doing it in the family name, doing it for Lilac, as everyone knows. So I think that's kind of helped me form who I am when I'm in the ring. That's why I take it so seriously. So I'm so passionate about it, because of how close of a connection my family has to wrestling. Because
Very close connection.
it's not just me that does it. Like, it started off with my dad, then me, now Lilith. She started doing it. So it's really a full thing that my family does. And when me and my dad first started, it was when my nana was in the care home and would always go and show her what we were doing, our matches. I think that's why wrestling, and when she passed, obviously, that's why we incorporated her in it. And it really made it close to us and personal.
Um, Tell us about the lilac tier. The significance of that. Why a tier?
Well, it all started, well, my nana passed in July, I believe it was, like early July. And then we had an upcoming show, and we did this whole video with Ob about putting a little bit of lilac on him, and the tear kind of fell naturally. So that's when we came up with the name the Lilac Tear. Then it was just getting the right move, which we decided the Sister Abigail, because of the way that we could do it. We could look down, at the person without a
Yeah,
little light. Yeah, look up, just remembering why we're wrestling, why we're doing this, then hit the move.
I love that. I really love that. Uh, First, your question, SME guy here. What gave you the name of Spawn and how you became the Lilac Demon with all of the face paint, the inspiration behind that?
Well, the face paint, it was just our family thing at the time. My dad had it. I got it. I had the half face paint at first with a little bit on the cheek. And the name Spawn, it actually came from a joke of me dad being this demon. And when I first started training, I was only young, so I was like his little spawn troll. You can kind of insinuate what that means. But then it kind of just stuck. And it just became my name, Spawn.
That's funny how the little things can turn
Yeah.
into something really big like that.
Just started off as a joke, and then it just got serious, and it became me.
So let's think back to a little earlier in your career. What is there one match or one moment that really truly stood out to you where you felt, yep, I belong here?
One match or one moment. I think it was when the Lilac Legion was fully formed. I think that's when I felt the most comfortable. That's when I felt like, yeah, this is right. This feeling's right. I think that's when I knew wrestling was like, it was going to be mine. If you get what I mean.
I do.
Yeah, I think it was just the song when we came out, the way that the crowd reacted. It just felt right.
That kind of leads into the next question here, the next segment, you may say. When you teamed up with Persona to form the Lilac Legion, what was the initial connection between you two like? Was it a friendship, just sportsmanship, bit of both?
Well, at first, we kind of just got slung together. We went to watch them at a show, which I didn't know about, but me dad and Colin went to watch to try and find us a tag partner to learn from. I was sitting there, didn't know none the wiser, and the scene Persona wrestle, and they're like, "That's the guy. That's the guy that we want Spawn to learn from, and to be as good as him." When he came in, I tried to just talk to him, see if we can become friends, but as we all know now, he's a bit socially awkward. So at first, I didn't think he liked us, um, but I think it's kind of as we developed as a tag team, as we had more matches, as we were like around each other more, we kind of just became friends. Then we got closer. Then curry nights started happening. He became my trainer, and now we've really got that bond there that we didn't at first.
I like that. Another your question here. What is your goal?
My goal in wrestling, I'm assuming it is, it's see how far I can take it, see how far I can go. Because I'd hate to give up now when not know how far I could have took it.
True. Back to the Lilac Legion. That incredible partnership. You've seen tag team championships. But it's been a while since that ended. Can you tell us what led to the decision to split up the Legion? At least the you and Persona portion of it.
Well, I know at first I didn't want to. I know Joe felt the same. We didn't want it to happen. I felt like I wasn't ready yet, and I wasn't as developed as a single star to be able to put matches on with Persona at a high quality. So I was a bit nervous about it. I didn't want it to happen. But we got told it'd be for the better because of how good the story would be, us being a tag team, everything happening, and how much I'd learn from facing Persona, because we all know he's very talented in the ring.
Yeah.
So just sharing the ring with him, I'd learn a lot and everything like that. And I think I'm grateful that did happen because of splitting up. I feel like I've developed more as a single star facing him. And I've got a greater understanding of who I am, not what the Lilac Legion was. I think that helped me develop a lot.
I think I understand that. So even after the breakup, what would you say is your proudest moment as part of the Lilac Legion?
I've got two. Us winning tag gold together. I really enjoyed that. And when we announced Colin as our manager, I think that was amazing. It was like, because you could tell Colin, me and Persona, Lilac Legion was his favourite. We always have been.
Yeah.
And then announcing him as our manager, and he didn't know about it, so it was a shock to him. You could feel the emotion and how happy he was that he was our manager. And if the Lilac Legion ever wrestled again, I would hope Colin would come back to be the manager.
You know what? I've never seen Colin move fast before, but I'm pretty sure if that was to happen, I'm sure he'd be right there. So now that the team has dissolved between you and Persona, do you see a possibility that it could, happen again? Is there a possibility of you two reuniting, or is that chapter closed?
Nothing's ever closed in wrestling.
Never say never.
There's always a chance. I'd love to be the Lilac Legion again.
I was about to rephrase that. Would you like to?
I would like to be the Lilac Legion again because us together were unstoppable. It just depends if we could get along.
That's $1 million question. So we are going to move on, getting a little personal now, because obviously you are I'm going to say it, you're a second generation wrestler, with your dad being strange. How do you navigate balancing your father's legacy with creating your own path in the ring?
Well, I think at first me and him took very similar steps in the wrestling business. Like, he started off as Dagon, then he went to the Lilac Demon, and then he changed into the Red-Faced Demon. And him making that change made me step into the shoes of becoming the Lilac Demon and carrying on the family name and our legacy. And I think I did the Lilac Demon, and I still am, very differently the way he has. I think that's what split us apart. Because I'm very technical, still useful, cocky, where he was all dark, serious, the candles, all the, what's the word, like, mythic stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think that's what separated us. Like, I'm still human as the Lilac Demon, where he was full demon.
Yeah, don't make me remember those days. Oh.
He was a scary man to be
He was
around.
a very scary man to be around. But moving on from your father, your little sister, she started training. How does it feel watching her begin her own wrestling journey?
I love it and I hate it at the same time. Because I know how much wrestling can take out of you, and I know how dangerous wrestling can be. So it's a slight chance of anything happening to her, which I know there's probably a 99% chance it won't.
Even ingenious.
Good evening. But it's still like you're nervous when she's trying all these flips, moonsaults, which you can do. She's got the more athletic side, but I know how happy it makes her when she wrestles, and how much she wants to improve, and how much she wants to be like us, which is the good part that I like about it, because it's a sport that she wants to do. She's thriving in it, especially for her age, and it's the fact that me, my dad, and Persona get to help her grow as a talent and help point her in the right directions, which we never had when we first started.
I like that. We've seen you and Lilith in the ring before. You two, obviously you train together, but what I want to know is how is the dynamic in training if you two work together? Do you ever find yourselves pushing each other?
I feel like I find myself pushing Lilith a lot in training to make her take it serious, because she's only young still. She likes to have a carry on. She likes to have fun. But at some points, I'm just telling her, come on, focus, lock in. I know it's a bit of like a pain in the arse doing fitness, but you've got to do it. You've got to push yourself. You've got to get that level. So I like to think I like to try and keep her on the right tracks, as long as her still enjoying it.
I'm sure between you, your father, and Persona, you'll all be able to do that and help. Um, would you ever consider teaming up with her again? And if so, who would you like to face?
I would definitely like to team up with her again. Light Legion, the different style. But who would I like to face? I think it would need to be another like intergender tag team where it's a boy and a girl.
Hmm.
Trying to think who would be good. Or who I would like to face would be Endeavour. Me and Lilith against Endeavour, because I know they've got a lot of experience on their side and how good they are in the ring. And I think it'd be a good test for both of us facing them. Or
Genius. Lilac Legion versus Young Guns.
I don't think I'd Lilith in the ring with Luke Jacobs.
Cannot wait for you to take you into B&Q tomorrow. Yep. Tap, tap, tap.
100%, Colin. 100%. I
Um,
think who I would also like to face, who I'd like Lilith to like to face, is, I know it's going to sound a bit weird, but Strange Street. Because, like, you know, Wall Street, he's a big guy. I'd like to see what she could do in, like, a respectful type match against a big guy, how she would react in the ring. And obviously, I've faced my father multiple times. So I'd like to see what Lilith could do against him.
I think
Just,
he'd be surprised.
yeah, I'd just like to see how she would hang in the ring with guys like that.
Maybe in a couple of years when she gets a bit taller. Still on to the subject of family. How much does your family's presence and legacy affect your decisions, not just in the ring, but outside of the ring?
I think because we do it for our family legacy, I think it pushes us a lot more. Like, we go to the gym all the time. We make sure that we're the best we can be when wrestling, because we're not just doing it in our name, we're doing it in the family name. So that's what makes it more important. Like, we've got to prove to not only our family but everyone what Lilac is and why it is what it is, and making sure everyone knows that if you're part of the Lilac family, not only you don't want to be messed with, but with some of the best that there is.
Without a doubt. Um, Going on to some career highlights, some rivals and stuff now. Who do you think's been your toughest opponent in your career so far? Like, who's the one person that's made you dig deeper than anyone than even you thought you could?
I would have to say Persona. It has to be, because not only did he play like physically, it was emotionally and mentally in the ring, like what he did to Lilith, what he did in our final match to Lilith, dragging her away. Like, he played with my emotions, which was really hard to try and stay calm and cool headed and focused when this guy's just stomped on my sister's head last time I faced him and disrespected Lilac multiple times. I think that's what made it so hard.
Right. Looking back, would you say that is your most defining match, or would you say there's something else that really defined who Spawn is?
I think the first time I faced the red-faced demon, I think that defined who Spawn was. Never giving up. No matter what the challenge is, I'll do it for the fans. I'll go to any limits. But the final time I faced Persona, I think that's where I proved to the fans that I could do it. That I can be that champion and I can be that guy for them.
Yeah, the Light in the Dark Championship. You chased that for so long. What a moment that was when you finally captured it as well. Wow, goosebumps. Everyone had goosebumps. Speaking of matches though, and have you ever found yourself in a match where either things aren't going according to plan or something may have gone wrong and you've had to fight through it or think of something on the fly?
I think the first time I faced you and G Mac, that was very different. Like, normally people like keep it in the ring, but at this time he was the gatekeeper, so he wouldn't let us get in the ring. He wanted us to get counted out, and it was very different and unique. And I wasn't used to someone playing that card, so I had to really figure out how I was going to work my way around it and what I was going to do.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this next question, or at least one of the answers. Who is on your list of dream opponents in the wrestling world? Like anyone that you have never faced, but you're eager to.
Well, we all know the first one's going to be. I'd love to face Luke Jacobs.
Yep.
The match. I would. Is this just all time?
All
Anywhere?
time. Anywhere, anyone.
I would like to face Randy Orton because I love his presence and the way he wrestles.
Genius knows.
Yeah.
Remember the entrance music versus Ewan?
Yeah, we did something special for Colin. We had Sky Full of Stars playing with Sean, his famous voice note at the beginning, saying peace out. Just as a little surprise for him, because I think that was my first ever main event and Colin came out with us. So I wanted to make it big, and I wanted to say thank you for Colin for everything he's done for us up until that point.
Lovely man, Colin.
But now it's the last one that I need to pick, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would love to face Liam Slater. I've watched his stuff. I know how good he is. He's very technical as well. And I'd love to have a one-on-one with him.
Pretty sure I'm going to see him at the end of the month. Sure I am. I'm sure he's at North.
He is. He's at North.
Yeah. So what would you say out of your whole career is the proudest accomplishment you've had?
I think winning the Light in the Dark. As much as I don't want to talk about the promotion because the guy that owns it's a prick, but I think winning that belt meant a lot to the fans. It meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to my family name, to the legacy, and also facing my trainer and for him to say, well done, he was proud of us after. That also meant a lot to us because I really had to dig deep make sure everything we did was spot on, amazing, and everyone being happy and over the moon with the outcome. That's when I felt relief, and I was like, I've finally done it.
Fantastic. So we are going to move on and talk about some hobbies outside of the ring. What are some of the things that you like to do? Some of your passions and hobbies that maybe the fans don't know about?
Well, I love playing games. As you know, DJ, I punch all over on games.
I'll see you on UFC later, kid.
Yeah, I love playing games with everyone. I like going to the gym. I like staying on top of my physical health to try and improve in the ring. I like studying wrestling and watching wrestling a lot, which, I mean, it might be an obvious thing to do, but I like analysing matches and analysing people, what to do. That's mainly the things I love doing.
Have you got a favourite match? Maybe something from WWE, WCW, something like that?
Yes.
Something that you've looked at more than once and you've went, ooh, I really like this.
It was WWE. It was Chris Benoit versus Rhino.
Wow.
I don't think it's a very popular match that I know of, but I've watched that match several times, watching the way they transitioned and moved around in the ring. I thought it was amazing.
I mean, say what you want about Benoit, but one of the very best technical wrestlers that's ever been in that ring.
I completely agree. He's one of my favourite wrestlers to watch technical-wise. Him, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero. I really like watching them in the ring. Like, what he did personally, but as a wrestler, I think he's amazing. One of the best wrestlers ever to do it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Where do you, Spawn, see yourself in, let's say, 5 years? Do you think you'll still be with the IWF, or do you think you'll be pursuing new goals? And I don't want to say bigger and better places, because nothing's bigger than the IWF. But you know what I mean.
I'm hoping in about 5 years' time I'm wrestling for some of the top names in the UK, and I've wrestled abroad maybe once or twice to really get my name out there. But no matter what happens, I think I'd always come back and wrestle for IWF.
Where would you like to wrestle abroad? Anywhere in particular?
Not really. There's no specific places. I mean, I would like to wrestle in Japan because I know it's an honor to wrestle there. So I'd really like to wrestle there to show the respect I have for the sport and everything like that. And maybe in Spain, possibly.
Ooh,
Watched
nice.
a few of their matches, and it's like the lucha libre styles kind of came from there, from people in Mexico. And I like that kind of wrestling, and I think I would go well against high flyers with my style.
I can see you. I can see you up against some luchadors. That'd be fun. El Mexicano. You can be El Britano.
I'm not El Mexicano.
So I have 3 more questions on the GTR for you, Spawn. As again, anyone has any questions, pop them in the comment section. I'll make sure they're on the screen. So, Spawny, when all is said and done, what kind of legacy do you want to leave in the world of wrestling? How do you want fans to remember Spawn?
I want to be known as the kid that started wrestling.
El Spawny.
I want to be known as the kid that started wrestling in a very rough place because we couldn't go anywhere to wrestle elsewhere and make a bigger name for ourselves. And I've pushed myself to the limits to become the best wrestler I possibly can be. Maybe trying to get other people into wrestling, like maybe being idols for some people, to push them to take the first steps into the wrestling business. But I just want to be known as a kid that started from nothing and became something.
I have no doubt that that's going to happen. 100%. I'm not ashamed to say that you and your dad are 2 of my inspirations to want to continue doing this, and a few others out there. I'm not going to name drop them though. This next one, This could get controversial depending on how you want to answer it.
Okay.
Spawn, the day that you took the stand with your father, Persona, and others to come to IWF to pursue the start of IWF, were you told that that was what you were going to be doing, or was that the decision was that decision like left to you? Because I know at that time you had literally just captured the Light in the Dark Championship, and you'd been chasing that for 2 years.
That was a decision on me. I got to choose whether I wanted to stay or not. Like, I knew what was happening, I knew why it was happening, and there's a very good reason for why it happened, but I'm not going to get into that. But I would rather leave a place where the guy that owns it's a Muppet. He's a hypocrite, and everything he says he goes against consistently, and leave with my dignity than be a champ there with no dignity. Because I think everyone that stayed has lost I've lost a lot of respect for them, because I don't know how people could stay working there knowing what's happened, because everyone knew what happened on the day. And that's why so many people left. But I knew I'd rather leave, stay with everyone, than be a champ somewhere where I wouldn't want to be. And I'd rather keep my credibility.
Very professional answer, you know. I like that.
Gotta try and be professional.
So this is my final question to you, Spawn. What is the one thing that you would like to leave behind in wrestling or pass on one day, way down the line, when you eventually hang the boots up?
I would hope that the Lilac demon persona is still going about. Whether that's my kids, Lilith's kids, you know, someone that came in from our family that's continued the whole Lilac demon and they make it their own. I'd like to see that passed down generations, and that being people's first real character. And I hope they get the true feeling of what it is, and they make a name for themselves as that persona, but in their own way. I think that's something I'd love to see once I hang up my boots, like to be able to watch the Lilac Demon gimmicks still go on.
I'd like that as well. I hope it does, and I hope we do see a third generation superstar in either your children or Lilith. See, you never know. Uh, he stopped stealing my catchphrase. So, Spawn, that is all of the questions I've got for you down on here. Everyone must be glued to the screens because there's no new questions in the comment section. So it is that time of the show where I'm going to give you the floor. Anything you want to say, anything you want to plug, anything you want to get off your chest, your time is now.
Well, I'd like to start off by thanking my dad for obviously helping us in wrestling, becoming who I am in wrestling, help pushing us to be a better wrestler. Same along with Lilith, like I need to become that sort of role model to my young sister, so she knows what she needs to become and what right footsteps she needs to take in the business. I like to thank Joe for training us for so long and helping us really push us that next step in wrestling by training us different things, different ways to think in the ring. I think that really helped. Obviously, I can't forget who started off with us training us. There was Lee Hartley and Jamie. They showed us the basics in wrestling. They made us more confident in the ring to be able to try new things. They gave us that first real push into the door. Obviously, Colin, he's done so much, not just for me, but for my family behind the scenes. He's helped us. He helped us all when my nana passed. He was consistently there for us all. He's still pushing us now, Colin. Obviously, he's gave us the platform in Dropkick.
Right there. See you tomorrow about Ewan.
Yeah, he's gave us the platform at Dropkick. Same with Leon and Jamie. They've all gave us that platform so I can showcase what I can do. Then there's the Scottish lot, which have really helped, like Jam Dog. Everyone's familiar with Jam Dog. He's watched my matches. He's gave us advice on what I need to do. Really helped us in that sense. Same with Devlin. I've done a few seminars with Devlin. He showed us a lot in ring and how to do stuff. Jackal was the first guy that, being young, I was just in the ring, just trying new things. He came in and showed us a few new moves, a few new things to do, which no one ever did that at first. Because I didn't ask for it, but he was like, come on, I'll show you a few new things to learn from. And those things I still remember today. I still carry on using them. Well, you'll notice my favourite reversal where they've got the wrist up reversal, the hello.
Yeah.
He showed us that when I was 15, and I still use it now. I mean, there's a lot of guys to thank. Taylor, giving us the platform at Wrestling's Pride. He's always been a good laugh, Taylor. And even though I'm not gay, like what the majority of people are at Wrestling's Pride, he still welcomed us in to be able to wrestle there, to show it's all inclusive and anyone can do it. Obviously, you, DJ, you've helped a lot, with the media behind everything, not just myself or not just the lives. Like, you've helped with the pages, you've helped with the videos getting edited, you've helped IWF a lot in many ways, which I can only thank you for, because IWF, it's like a family promotion, because that's what we all are. We're all a big family. And I think anything that happens to our family, we're all together. We've got a close bond now. So I thank the IWF family. They've all been there training, everything that we've went through. We've all stayed together. We all still talk and chat, make sure we're all okay. Try and make sure I haven't forgot anyone. Thank you, Zoe, for driving us in the car.
Designated driver.
I think that's everyone.
Think you got everyone?
I think so. If I haven't, I do apologise.
Right. Well, Spawn, thank you very much for sitting down with us this evening. It's been fantastic. We've dived into your early career. We've dived into everything you've done throughout. We've dived into your personal life. But there was one question I did forget to ask.
Oh.
And I've been wondering this. What's your favourite food?
What's my favourite food?
Yeah. Because I've noticed we speak a lot and you're always getting different foods all the time. What's your favourite?
Well, I do love a good curry from Four Hands when we have a curry night, but I mean, nothing does compare to a pizza at DeVito's, does it?
Oh, pepperoni.
Had that last night.
Pepperoni.
It's amazing. And DeVito's, I mean, I would love to sponsor. I love a sponsor from them.
That would, that'd be fantastic.
Just around the corner.
Well, thank you very much for sitting down and joining me this evening. Thank you, everybody that's joined in, whether you're watching live or whether you're going to come back to watch it later on. It's been absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure we're going to be speaking pretty soon, because I'm going to go and kick your backside on UFC. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been your King of Media, DJB. That's been the Lilac Demon Spawn. This has been Behind the Curtain, Interviews of Excellence. Good night wherever you are in the world. See you next time.